Hi, it's Todd here from Todd's Workshop, and I have got a early 16th century German all-steel rondel dagger based on a piece in the Wallace collection. The Wallace collection commissioned me to make one for their handling collection, so when I made one, I made two. So I'll just explain how I made this thing and a little bit about it. So it's probably from Dresden, early 16th century, so let's say about 1510, 1520. And it's the little turn down that dates it to the early 16th century. They made similar daggers to this in the 15th century, but without the little turn down. The turn down on the guard is, I think, probably for blade catching. Another theory is that it makes it more comfortable to wear next to your body. I'm not really sure about that. However, we've got a very skinny handle. It looks incredibly uncomfortable. And in fact, your hand meets like this. But it's not for that, it's for armoured fighting. So you're going to be wearing a gauntlet. So you've got more bulk in there already. And the idea is, you can see there that there's a little bit of a gap. If that was for unarmoured fighting, you'd want the grip about this length. But that gives you just enough room to get a gauntlet in. It makes it really, really secure. But the large rondel on the top also gives you some added protection there so nobody can stab through from the top and into your hand. Triangular blade on it. Very curious. If you look at it, whatever direction you look at it from, it looks like the blade has been put in on the squiff. It's not. Look at it like that way, and it's straight. So what we have here is triangular blade, about 8 inches, 25 centimeters long. It's not desperately sharp. It doesn't need to be sharp because this is about making holes in things. Another name for this is an armor piercer. Panzer sticker was the name that they used at the time. Got about a 3mm thick steel guard here, solid. You've got a tubular handle. Now, I've turned that out of a steel tube, tapered it down, put the firework decoration into it, just like the original was. The original, though, however, was probably folded out of a sheet with a single seam line on it. But then we come to the top here, which is really interesting. So I'm going to go for a close-up on the top disc there. And you can see just on the inside, there's a lip. This is hollow. If that was solid, it would be far too much weight in the hand, it would be far too much weight on the scabbard, and it would hang upside down. So that's been made from a flat plate at the top, which has then had the edges turned down, fitted over the bottom rondel, and then those edges just crimped underneath, just tacked down, and everything dressed to be nice and neat and clean. And then the whole piece itself, it's glued together as well as being peened on the top here. And that way it stops anything moving at all. But also these sections are relatively thin. So you fill them with historically cutler's resin, a pitch of some kind. You give them more resistance. You give them a stronger basis for not getting dented, basically. So it's not glued to hold it together. It's glued to fill it. And that's how some medieval weapons were made. So glue in the Western world was generally not used to hold things together, but you actually go out further east and you go to India and they glued their blades together, glued the sword blade into the hilt. So it's not a crazy idea, but it's not a Western European idea. The glue is there just to stop any movement. And the original piece, which I examined in a film with Keith Dowen, the curator there, has absolutely no movement after 500 years. Everything is rock solid. So I'll put money on it that the original piece, even though obviously I couldn't look at the inside of it, would have been filled. On the top here, we've got a nice little decorative peen washer and just a bit of file decoration. Interestingly, I think interestingly, the top is completely flat. That's unusual for this sort of dagger. Usually it's domed. So it gives quite a striking, unexpected look to the piece. But the thing that I found fantastically interesting when I examined the original piece is it has a crack running all the way from the guard straight down to the tip, all the way. And that crack did not come in post-manufacture. It was there when the thing was bought and sold and made and presumably used. And the guy who bought it, looked at the whole piece and went, yeah, crack, whatever, don't care. Had the crack been across, problem. Because it's linear, doesn't matter at all. So I took this into the Wallace and we laid the original piece and this one side by side and we examined them. talked about them, had a look at the way they were made, interesting details of them, and to be honest, Keith and I just nerded out on it. That film's now on YouTube. Go check that out. It's a big full one. And this particular dagger is currently available. But if you're too late and you've missed it, well, you can always ask me to make another. But I do like these all steel rondels. And here's another one that we also have in stock on Todd's Workshop, but this one's hollow ground and a lovely barley twist on the blade. But as ever, comes with a beautiful leather sheath. See you again.